You just got dumped and you've wisely decided to go no contact. But what about those mutual friends that you and your ex share? How do you handle being around them? Do you talk about your ex? Do you not talk about your ex? What do you do? Because ultimately you don't want information to get back to your ex that could derail your chances of getting back together again, right? Let's talk about it. So first of all, friends naturally want to be supportive if you've been dumped. They want to be there to help you commiserate and be a shoulder for you to cry on and things like that. But you don't know what information is going to get back to your ex. So I really want to caution you about not giving too much information to these mutual friends. They may very well have good intentions, but that doesn't mean that they're going to have good actions in terms of helping you get your ex back. You obviously don't want to cut off your friendships with these people if they're good people, and you don't want to be one of those assholes that draws a line in the sand and said, you've got to pick me or them. But you do have to understand that sometimes well-meaning people do things that will derail your chance of reconciliation. So don't ignore the elephant in the room. You know you broke up. They know you broke up. Don't pretend like it didn't happen and just ignore that topic of conversation. Go ahead and address it, but set and enforce some clear and healthy boundaries. Say things like, hey, I'm taking some time to work on myself right now, to heal, to grow, to learn from my mistakes. And I'm not going to want to talk about my ex with you because you're friends with them, and I don't want to do anything that could compromise your friendship with them or our friendship. So I'm not going to talk about them, and I would appreciate it if you would do the same. Now, some friends will naturally want to gossip with you a little bit about your ex and be like, oh my God, did you hear that they're dating so-and-so? And crap like that. And you don't need that right now. That's going to derail your focus and get you all on pins and needles and anxious and upset. You don't need that. So if your friends are doing that kind of thing, you again need to set some clear and healthy boundaries. And if they don't respect that, in other words, if they cross that boundary even one time after you've clearly stated it, then I would take a break from being their friend for the time being. And I would do the same thing if they're prying at you for information about you and your life and asking questions about whether or not you're dating somebody new. Ultimately, you want your friends to be supportive and neutral, and you want them to respect your boundaries. And if they can't do that, I wouldn't necessarily end the friendship for good, but again, I would cut off that friendship for right now while you're in this process. Now, of course, if you do have a lot of mutual friends, you may find that you're getting invited to social gatherings where your ex might be there. And of course, if they are dating somebody new, they might bring that person. And you don't really need that. So I would get with your friends and say, hey, right now I'm focused on myself and my healing. I don't really want to be around my ex. So I don't want you to not invite them to something if you want to, but can you please let me know that ahead of time so I can make an informed decision about whether or not I want to go to that. And then in most cases, I would indeed suggest that you not go to social gatherings where you know your ex is going to be there, especially if you're in the early stages of no contact and you're still kind of getting used to it. You're still anxious and on pins and needles, hoping and waiting to see if you hear from them. You don't need that added stress of seeing them at a party and especially maybe seeing them with somebody new. You don't need that. Now, while you're focused on your own growth and your own healing, it could be a good time to cultivate some new friendships. Again, I'm not telling you to end your friendships with these mutual friends, but it can be very healthy to get some new friends who don't know your ex, who've never met your ex. And that way you've just got a more balanced friend group. Because you will find that even if you don't bring it up or insist on it or talk about it, some friends naturally will pick sides. And sometimes they will pick your ex instead of you. I found that to be the case with my now ex-wife when we split up about 3 years ago, and I did my best to maintain a sense of neutrality, not trash-talking my ex. Unfortunately, she did not do the same thing, and I have lost a number of our so-called mutual friends. But they're not really your friends if they are willing to dump you and drop you unceremoniously without even talking to you about it. But it is important to have a friend group that you can talk about things with, that you can commiserate with, that you can connect with and really be open and honest and vulnerable with. I would, though, however, encourage you to not dump on your friends all the time. That will get old for them, and no one wants to be around a Debbie the Downer. So if you really need somebody to talk to on a regular basis, you should definitely seek out therapy. Ultimately, it can be very tricky to navigate these kind of waters with mutual friends between you and your ex. You do need to draw and set and enforce healthy boundaries with them, and you do need to be willing to step away temporarily from the friendship if they can't honor that. Where are you at in this journey? Have you had mutual friends that backstabbed you? Have you had mutual friends that gossiped to you or about you? Let me know in the comments, but for now, I'll see you in the next video.